So continuous integration. So as I was telling you, what is the use of continuous integration? So with the use of continuous integration, especially in the agile process, so developers can detect the bugs during the build of the code in the early stage instead of waiting for the last stage. And for that, we have some tools like Jenkins. Okay, as I was telling you, last session I told you, right? I think last session I told you, right? So developers commit the code on regular basis to the code repositories, and whenever the code is committed, an automatic process starts. An automatic process starts for building the code to detect any errors at the early stage. Okay, runs the test immediately, like unit testing, functional testing. And if the test is passed and build is successful, the code is ready for deployment. Okay. So there are some tools for this automatic process, like Jenkins is a very famous continuous integration tool. It is an open source. Bamboo, Travis is there. And in cloud also, we have cloud native tools. In AWS, if you go, we have code pipeline. In Google Cloud, we have code build. In Azure, we have Azure DevOps, like that. So today we are going to see about Jenkins. Okay. So what we are going to see in Jenkins is, say, we have code committed to Git repository. Let me take like this. Say a developer one from his machine or from his laptop, he writes is a Java code or writes a Spring Boot code. Okay, and commits this code to a GitHub repository. And we have seen the GitHub, right? How to GitHub is one of our long courses that we have seen, right? GitHub repository. So he commits and pushes the code to the pushes code to GitHub repository. Okay. So that's what happened. Now, once the code is committed to this, okay, what we can have is we will set up a Jenkins, we'll install Jenkins. Or, okay, we'll install Jenkins. Install Jenkins in a VM, in a virtual machine. Okay. And this virtual machine will be where you are a server also. It will be server and both. So what we will do is the Jenkins that is running in this virtual machine will be polling the GitHub repository. Polling. When I say polling, I'll tell you what is polling. Polling the GitHub repo at a frequency of, say, 10 minutes or 5 minutes or 1 hour, like that. 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 1 hour. That means for every 5 minutes, if I put a frequency of 5 minutes, for example, if I put a frequency of 5 minutes, it will poll the GitHub repository for every 5 minutes. That means polling means Jenkins will connect to the GitHub repository. What do you mean by polling means? Jenkins will connect to the GitHub repository, GitHub repo, and check for any new code that is committed. By the developer, by the developers. So we have to define an interval, like for every 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 1 hour. We have to define this interval, and so say for example, if I put 5 minutes, so for every 5 minutes, Jenkins will connect to GitHub repo, check for any new code that is committed by developers. If I put frequency as 10 minutes, it will connect for every 10 minutes and do that. If I put 1 hour, it will connect for every 1 hour. So like that, so Jenkins will connect to GitHub repository, and what it does is, it will check for this any new committed code. And what it does is, then in case suppose if a developer has committed a latest code in the GitHub repository, okay, then what Jenkins will do is, it will, okay, so Jenkins, what it will do is, it will pull the code from GitHub repo, pull the latest code from GitHub repo, and trigger or execute. Suppose if the project is a Maven build project, execute Maven build and execute Maven build and execute Maven build. Okay, so once Maven build is executed, what will happen? Once Maven build is executed, what will happen? We have seen Maven also. What is the result of a Maven build? Can anyone tell? What is the result of a Maven build? Jar file, correct. So jar is created. Jar is created. Okay. So that is what we are going to see. So that is what we are going to see in today's exercise. That means you are not going to do the build. So if you commit the code to GitHub repository, so Jenkins will connect to the GitHub repository and do the Maven build. And whenever Maven build is done, jar is created and where jar will be present in this machine only. Wherever the Jenkins running in this virtual machine, so jar will be present here only. So that is what we are going to see. Okay, so it means like this. If you see the overall view like this, you have a GitHub. First, we have a developer machine. Okay. Next is GitHub. Next is Jenkins. Okay. And then trigger a Maven build. So developer machine, GitHub, Jenkins, Maven build. And what is the output of a Maven build? You will get a jar file. Okay. Then we can also do this also. After jar file is built, we can copy. The next one is copy. copy, copy, copy is nothing but copy this jar file to some server, where this jar file, uh, where this jar file will get executed in the server. Okay. So this is how we are going to see the flow. And Jenkins is going to do that actually. Okay. So this is automation. Okay. Automation. Once you commit the code to GitHub, once code is committed to GitHub, so this is the flow we are going to see. This is the flow we are going to see. Okay, let us start now. So actually for this, I already prepared a document. Okay, last week only I prepared this document. For this class I prepared so that I can share this with you. I prepared with all the screenshots, how we'll configure the Jenkins and all that. I'll upload in that our Google Classroom notes. Last week I uploaded the JMeter part, or I forgot to upload actually. I'll upload that also. Last week I uploaded JMeter. Okay. No, right? Fine. Why in VM? Why in VM means this is to bring the practical experience. That's all. In real-time scenarios, your Jenkins will not be in your local machine. Your Jenkins will be in some remote machine. So VM is your remote machine, and your code will be in your local machine. So this is your local machine. Okay, this is your local machine, laptop, or from your laptop, you will commit the code to GitHub. Okay, and from GitHub, so Jenkins will be present in a VM, which is in remote machine. You can think like this as a server. Okay. Now let me okay. This is my AWS console. No instances are running. Let me do, already have, let me create one Jenkins so that it will be, I'll create one machine, okay? Let me delete this. Let me create one instance, okay? So here I'll say it is Jenkins server. Okay, I'll select Ubuntu. Okay, and let me put some memory. Okay, free tier will not be sufficient. Free tier, if you'll get only 1 GB memory. 1 GB memory will not be sufficient. Okay, let me take at least 2 CPU and 4 GB memory. And already have a key pair. I'll select this. Already have a key pair, right? Docker demo server key pair. I'll use this key pair only. I'll use. So this is why we use key pair. You remember, right? For we don't need password. If you have key pair, we don't need password. So just we can log in with this key pair. Then allow HTTPS traffic. I'm allowing all. And then, okay, number of instances, fine. I'll just, might be for Jenkins, let me put some more GB, okay, so that it will be, okay, launch instance. Okay. So this is the instances, and okay, this is the Jenkins server. This is running. Okay. So then let me do what I'll do is I'll just say putty and then I'll copy this. I'll copy this. So this IP address, you know how to select, right? So first I'll go here, I'll copy the IP address. Then we don't need password. We'll give the key for this to connect. So I'll give this one key. If I give the key here, automatically it will log in just without a password. So Ubuntu. Okay. Now you got this. Right? Okay, now you got this. Now we'll install Jenkins here. Okay, in this we'll install Jenkins. So I followed the steps actually, follow this one. Just install JDK 11. Okay, just install this. For Jenkins, you need to have Java because Jenkins runs on in Java. So this is you are installing JDK 11 in Ubuntu. This is the command to install. Always apt-get is a Ubuntu command and install is a install command to install this software, JDK software. So it is installing the software. Okay. Then use this command. Let me copy here. Just I'll copy here. This is actually to just follow this command. That's all. Next is this is for installing Jenkins. Okay. This is for installing Jenkins. From Jenkins documentation, this will be available. I have taken from there. Okay. Next is sudo apt get update. Next is this is the command to install Jenkins. Sudo apt get install Jenkins. So it is taking time. Not production environment. See, from your local machine, if you want to take that to server, either dev server or test server or stage server, so you'll go through this Jenkins process. So once you commit to GitHub, automatically Jenkins will take care of building the code and everything. It is taking time. See, actually, already last week it was installed only in my machine. But to show you the installation process, I'm doing from starting. Otherwise, I can directly log into Jenkins and show you the pipe. But you should know the installation process also, right? So that's why I'm showing this installation, like these steps. Okay. So these steps you will get directly from Jenkins community website. Okay. Already I have put this. I'll upload this so that you can install that things. And once Jenkins is started, you can open the Jenkins from this browser. Okay. Okay. Then we'll do all these steps actually. Generally, it should be faster, but here it is showing somewhat 8 minutes. I'm not sure why. Really, it will take 8 minutes. I'm doubt. It will take time actually. So after completing Jenkins, we'll see Gradle. Next is Jira, Datadog. Okay. I don't know why it is taking time. So generally, I'll tell you some architectures, okay, in where we can use Jenkins, some typical architectures also. Generally, once a developer commits the code, but we are not going to see all that, but that is a separate DevSecOps part, where we have a Jenkins and you have a GitHub. Jenkins will pull the code from GitHub, and Jenkins will do the Maven build. When Maven build is executed, it will execute unit test code, unit tests, that is JUnit. Then when Maven build is executed, it will execute Sonar Cube. We have seen, right, from Maven integration to Sonar code quality checks. Okay. Then Jenkins will execute. We can trigger from Maven build, or we can run separately also. There is a kind called automated test actually. Automated testing. This is written in Selenium actually. Selenium. Jenkins will execute the automated testing. Next, Jenkins will then, once the jar is built, automated testing is done, then it will deploy. It will deploy to server. Even we can connect, okay, we can, before the automated testing also, once it will copy the jar to repository, some repository. Actually, this is the real-time scenario something. Whatever the jar that is coming from Maven, it will use actually, there are some repositories like Nexus or JFrog Artifactory. It will copy the jars. Jars are kind of a libraries. So it will copy here. Then it will deploy to server. Deploy to server. Okay. It will deploy to server. So why we are doing this copy jar to Nexus? See, this will contain multiple. This will contain jars. This will contain so many jars. So many, we can say it is a library of jars or application jars. So, for example, you take a build. Okay, you create one project with version 1. Okay, and the jar that is generated by your Maven will be, say, app. Say, for example, let us take my app 1.jar. This is the name. 1.0 is the version. My app 1.jar. So this jar will be copied here, and then when you deploy, okay, that jar will get executed in the server. Now you have done some changes to your application, and then you are enhancing your product, and that name of the jar is my app 2.jar. Okay. So that jar also will be generated by your Maven build, and that jar will be pushed to here. The same flow. Now your Nexus will contain these two jars and myapp2.jar. Suppose if there is an issue comes with myapp2.jar in the server. Suppose if an issue that comes with myapp2.jar in your server, but myapp1.jar is working perfectly fine. So myapp1.jar is not there in the server. Now it has been replaced with myapp2.jar, but this myapp1.jar, 2.jar are there in this repository. It's a library of application jars. So immediately you don't need to again follow all this process to bring myapp1.jar. So directly you can take from Nexus repository and copy that to server. Because this contains all the old jars, old version jars, your new version jars. Okay, suppose if you get an issue with your new version jar, okay, then you don't need to again take the build from your old GitHub code and do all that. So your old version jar is already present in this repository. You can take that and copy to server so that you can again later fix this new version jar. So in that way, actually, this is called Nexus repository or JFrog. Okay, Nexus is one. You can use any of the softwares like Nexus or JFrog. I mean, this is the real-time scenario I'm telling you actually. But in this course, we are not going to see all this. We are going to see anyhow we have seen JUnit, Maven will integrate with this already. Okay, Selenium is a separate, it is a separate course if you say, automated testing. What Selenium does is, say for example, you have built a web application. Okay, and Selenium, how many of you heard about Selenium? Selenium is an automated testing tool. Suppose you have built a web application. What Selenium will do, you know, suppose let us take you build a web application for example, you build like a order management application or a bank application. So how do you test that application? You'll go to the home page, you'll click one link, next you'll go to another link. You'll see all the pages are working perfectly or not, we are getting correct responses or not. We'll be doing a manual testing. So Selenium, what it is, no, it is a code. It is a code that does the testing. Code will automatically open the browser. Code will automatically log into the screen. Code will automatically open the page. It is just like you can think like a robot is doing that. So Selenium is a code. Instead of a person, instead of a human person opens the page and does the testing, Selenium does the testing actually. Selenium through code we can do that. When we run the Selenium, automatically it will connect to the web browser. Automatically it will open the URL from the web browser. It will log into the home page of the application. Okay, then it will connect to the different pages. All that we'll write in the code, Selenium will execute all the steps. Okay, so this is called, that is what we call it as an automated testing. Okay, so this is the real scenario steps where you can use the complete Jenkins. Yes. Okay, now Jenkins got installed. Let me see whether Jenkins has been installed properly or not. So I'll just say systemctl status Jenkins. This command, if I execute this command, we'll see whether Jenkins is properly executed or not. Systemctl status Jenkins. Yes. So Jenkins is actively running. Okay. So Jenkins is actively running. Now I can open, Jenkins is running in 8080 port, right? So I cannot actually, I have to open the port. Otherwise I cannot access from the browser because my VM machine. If I go to your Jenkins server, I will open the security group for this. Through security group, we can open that. Okay. Let me go here. So this is my security group. Inbound rules. I'm allowing all. Let me allow 8080 port. I'm allowing 44383. So I will allow one more rule, custom TCP. I'll give 8080 port. And 0.0.0 will allow from any IP address, save rules. Right? Now, let me try to access this from browser. This is the IP address. Might be in the document, you might be seeing different IP address because that is for another machine. Okay, now for every machine, you will get a IP address. HTTP colon 8080. Now you see you got a Jenkins page. Getting started. What it is telling, unlock Jenkins. To ensure Jenkins is securely set up by the administrator, a password has been written to the log. Not sure where to find it. This file is on the server. Okay. So, see, Jenkins, what will happen is you have to log in with a password. So initially you'll get one password. That password you have to log in, and that password will be present here actually. You can use this password and type here and click on continue. Okay, let me open this password. This is there in the Jenkins server. See, this is the password. So this is the password. Okay. Let me put like this. Again, I'm opening this. This is a file, cat command, and this is the password. Okay. So I'll use this password to log into the first time Jenkins, because first time I installed, right? After that, you can set your own password. This is the administrator password. Okay, click on continue. Now you see. So this is so now you can install some plugins. What plugins you can install? Select these plugins. You can select some Maven plugin. Okay. You install some plugins. I'm just trying to see where is this Maven plugin or GitHub plugin. Sorry, GitHub plugin. Okay, this is a GitHub plugin. So because our flow is what? Jenkins should connect to GitHub, right? Jenkins should connect to GitHub. So to connect Jenkins to GitHub, because GitHub is in a separate, it's a separate URL, separate server, everything. Jenkins is in my server. Okay, so I want to connect, right? So what I'll do, I'll install GitHub. This plugin integrates GitHub to Jenkins. So I'll install this. Let me select this. I'll install this. I don't need all this, I think, but let me install all this. So it is installing. So it's installing the GitHub plugin to the Jenkins. GitHub plugin. Okay. So they're installing. Okay, all these are getting installed. Actually, we don't need all these. Only GitHub is enough. But so I could have directly showed you by building gems, but you should know the installation process, right? That's what I'm showing. Installation will take some time, definitely. Just a few minutes. So hope everyone you are practicing the tools and all that, right? Once after you're listening the class, and how many of you are practicing the tools that till now I told in your local machines? So practice this, don't miss. Otherwise, what will happen is These tools are very important actually. Okay. See, development is one part. These tools are one part. So knowing these tools are very essential for the minimal optimal development. As I told you from the beginning, if you see of our course, start from J unit, Mockito. This is most important for unit testing. We have done a lot of unit testing. We have seen that. And Maven build is automatically for build process and building the jar, logging. So now, if you see, all these tools are essential for development code, and Git, even Git maintains your code actually. And Docker for containerization, ELK for your central log. Okay, and JMeter for performance testing. See, all these are related essentially to your development. So you should have a basic knowledge of all these tools. So to have this basic knowledge, mainly thing is first you should learn from this class, and then you should practice. So once you practice, you can do actually some more enhancements after you gain basic knowledge. I mean, those who are interested to go to DevOps, pure DevOps, they can focus on writing some groovy scripts in Jenkins and all that. Okay, that is actually once you know the basics of Jenkins. Similarly, you can write some Terraform scripts or something, right, for creating ELK clusters and all. So it's a practice. Okay, practice these things in your laptops, so it will be easy. So even if you are in development phase, also integrate your development environment to these tools. I don't know today. What I'll do is today it will take time for this installation. So tomorrow, once we'll have all the installation ready, then we can follow these steps. Okay, like configuring the Maven. That means finally we'll do this flow. This one. This is the one we are going to build practically. Let us see for some time. Otherwise, we'll It will take again, it will take 10 more minutes, I'm thinking. All right then. What I'll do is tomorrow we'll meet. Okay. I think you don't need once installed. Okay. Tomorrow we'll complete this flow. Okay. This flow will complete tomorrow. How we will connect to GitHub, how Jenkins will connect to GitHub. Okay. We'll do the Maven build and do the jar file. Everything we'll see tomorrow. Okay. All right then. See you tomorrow. Okay. So don't miss Thursday, Friday, Saturday classes. 3 days. Okay. Just fine, right, everyone? Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Okay. Don't miss the classes. All right then. So tomorrow we will be meeting. Tomorrow 7:30. I'll keep this window open like this so that it will get installed. Yeah, bit time it will take. It will take more than 10 to 15 minutes it will take. I'll keep this window open so that once installed, tomorrow I will show you this. Okay then. See you tomorrow. Okay.